story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
A very good evening to you. Welcome to Core TV News on the hour. I am Gift Ogete. President Goodluck Jonathan has declared a total war against terrorism as the country's security forces step up efforts to rescue more than 200 schoolgirls kidnapped by the deadly Islamic sect Boko Haram 45 days ago. Jonathan says he is committed to protecting the nation's democracy, unity and stability in an address marking 15 years since the return of civilian rule in Africa's most populous country and largest economy.
Our democracy, our national unity and our political stability by waging a total war against terrorism. The unity and stability of our country and the protection of lives and property are non-negotiable. Have instructed our security forces to launch a full-scale operation to put an end to the impunity of terrorists on our soil. The war against terror may be difficult, but the days of peace will come again. Terror is evil. Nowhere in history has evil endured forever. The menace of Boko Haram will surely come to an end. I believe that because of your prayers, your courage, hard work, faith, and sacrifice will ultimately prevail over the terrorists and all other evil forces.
The federal government has again challenged the All Progressives Congress over the prevailing security challenges in northeast Nigeria. Information Minister Labaran Mako says the party should be taken to task on policies that created a hotbed for insurgency and state-controlled. He added that virtually all the money devoted to national security is spent on states controlled by the party.
No, I think that honestly, if we want this country to grow, we must ask the relevant questions. We must ask the relevant questions. The Chibok girls remain our #1 priority. We will never sleep, we will not rest until God brings them out. But for you to not begin to look at it as if, you know, when people do wrong, we are the firefighters. The federal government is a firefighter. We did not create the insurgents or the structure that led to them. You know where they came from. But you are not blaming the firefighter for the fire.
The Director of Defense Information, Chris Olukolade, says security agents had arrested one suspect in connection with the May 20 bombing in Jos Central Market, Plateau State. He made the disclosure at the joint news conference by the National Information Center, Abuja. The suspect, according to Olukolade, was already providing the lead for subsequent aspects of investigation into the incident. According to him, security agencies are carrying out nationwide surveillance and that the surveillance is yielding positive results. He added that a number of persons who are planning to continue the bombing sphere have also been arrested. The Defense Information Director said arms and ammunition were recovered from the suspects, adding that the raid would continue so as to check violence in the country. He also confirmed the killing of 25 security personnel comprising 12 soldiers and 13 policemen at Buniyadi town, Yobe, by the Boko Haram insurgents on Tuesday. Benue State Governor Gabriel Suswan says the recent threat later purportedly written by Boko Haram to some schools in the state was not from the insurgents. The governor spoke with journalists shortly after a meeting with President Goodluck Jonathan, saying that the letters were the handiwork of mischievous elements.
I feel that was activities of some mischievous people. The way the letter was couched and what was written there, I wanted to control it. Unfortunately, it got into the press and became something that was wide. But I think that was from some mischievous element, not coming from the quarters that it was purported to be coming from. I believe so. But in spite of that, I have taken very adequate measures to protect schools in Benue.
Suswan added that clashes between herdsmen and farmers in the state had been substantially reduced.
I have set up very strong committees with the Fulanis and the Benue farmers. So the Fulanis and the Benue farmers are now working together in a joint committee. Anywhere where there is an incident, this committee attend to it, like the issue of rape that I'm telling you about. Both the Fulanis, it was actually the Fulanis that made sure that we arrested one of the offenders. And so we're working together. Both sides know the commitment that we have, and so we believe that we'll be able to sustain that.
Determined to put an end to the violence that have characterized political activities ahead of the June 21st governorship election in Ekiti State, Nigeria Police has announced the deployment of 8,000 policemen to complement the existing 4,000 prepared for a hitch-free poll. Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, Michael Zuokomo, made this disclosure during his visit to the state. Rashid followed his trail and filed in this report.
The recent violent attacks on governorship candidates' campaign trains by political gladiators in Ekiti State has now drawn the ire of Nigerian police, who have vowed to ensure that all hands will be on deck to ensure that it performs very well its constitutional role of securing lives and property before, during and after the June 21st governorship election in the state. The Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, Michael Zuokomo, restated this commitment when he visited Ado-Ekiti to convey the concerns of the first headquarters, Abuja, to politicians in the state.
The election will come and go without any issue. We will do everything we can to make sure that there's no violence. The politicians will do their own by voting peacefully. Anybody who wants to take the laws into his hands, to try to be a problem to others, to try to constitute a threat to others, that is where we can be.
Ekiti State Commissioner of Police Felix Uyana, in his remarks, emphasized the importance of the people's safety and revealed that the Deputy Inspector General Zuokomo will lead the special force for the election.
Police within the state to assess our state of preparedness. Will also be here on ground as a grand commander for that election operations. We will be here with an array of his immediate lieutenants.
Michael Zuokomo sent a strong signal to violent individuals and groups to expect a tough time during and after election, as the police won't treat anyone as sacred cow.
I want to know which party is perpetrating violence. As the person is perpetrating the violence, or is about perpetrating the violence, or he constitutes himself as a threat to peace, it will be picked up. We don't want to know. We won't even ask whether you are APC or DPC or whatever. No, that's not our concern. Our concern is that this individual is constituting a problem to law and order, and the person will be picked automatically.
If the police are ready to walk the talk and all the relevant stakeholders in this electoral process follow suit, the conduct of the June 21st governorship poll in Ekiti State will surely be a success. Rashid, Core TV News, Ado-Ekiti.
Lawyers in Lagos have called on the government to re-strategize on its security plan. They advised to Nigerians to remain vigilant and unite in conquering terrorism. Motayo Law has details.
The security of lives and property top the list of needs of people in any given society. The need for a peaceful society is now a priority for most Nigerians. The government has been making efforts in curbing the recent rise in insecurity, but legal practitioners say a more result-oriented effort should be adopted.
I think the change of strategy has to come. There must be effective policing of Nigeria. The issue of our borders must be taken care of. The issue of seeking cooperation from our neighboring states, also countries, must be very, very, put into place.
It is not a question of Jonathan. Jonathan will leave tomorrow and the problem will remain. These people want to destabilize Nigeria. And by extension, if they do that, they have destabilized West Africa.
There is every need for a political solution to this insurgency. It has been proven that the carrot and stick approach has not worked. It has been obvious, proven, that no amount of negotiation that is not political that can solve Boko Haram.
Some of the lawyers say the efforts of government should not be condemned.
our soldiers are trying. They are doing their best with the mega resources within our hand. Mind you, Boko Haram is being financed by international community. It did not start today. This thing that is happening today have been on the pipeline for a long time. They have bases all over Africa. Nigeria will soon overcome that.
Others tax Nigerians to be courageous and fight back whenever the insurgents attack.
We need to react. Not reacting by talking and talking, but our leaders, they need to do something. Obasanjo Kudus, he did something, and somehow, there was a bit of, you stay back. Imagine me pushing you, and you keep pushing, and they'll push us. And they've pushed us, and we're not even entering into the war. So it's not about we are getting to the war. We've passed the stage of the war.
The need for adequate security and safety of lives and property has now taken priority over many other needs of Nigerians. Omotayo Alo, Core TV News, Lagos.
You're watching Core TV News on the hour. We'll take a break. Stay with us.
I don't think the election was actually... What are the people saying?
5 local governments out of the 32 local government is more than many states in the north.
The economy is booming. Where is the economy booming?
Bomb blast in Abuja. Don't you have security?
Why are we fighting? Presidency should not just sit in Abuja or in Asokoro or wherever he lives.
Tell us sponsoring the Boko Haram. They know them. Men cannot be there and be there at the same time.
The life of the citizens, community need to be protected.
It can't work out.
Bring the message of peace. Let there be proper devolution of power from the center. The center is too powerful.
The people, only on Core TV News.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
I see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on Core TV News. Welcome back. It's Core TV News on the hour. Visit us on our Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/Core TV News. You can also follow us on Twitter at Core TV News NG, and also on YouTube at www.youtube.com/Core TV News. Residents of Baghdad, the Iraqi capital city, were awakened by sounds of thunderous blast which ripped through the city in the night. The winner of the just concluded presidential election, Nouri al-Maliki, prepares to embark on his third term in office. A post-election wave of attacks across Iraq, including car bombings in Baghdad and the northern city, killed at least 74 people. The compound death toll from the blast rose to 74 after late-night attacks made it the bloodiest single day in Iraq in more than 7 months. It was the latest in a protracted scourge and unrest, fueling fears that the country is slipping back into all-out conflict. The wave of violence could further destabilize Iraq as political leaders jostle to build alliances and form a government following April 30 elections that left Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki in the driver's seat for a third term in power. In Baghdad's deadliest attack, a suicide bomber detonated a vehicle rigged with explosive in the mainly Shiite neighborhood in North Baghdad, killing at least 16 people and wounding 52. Ex-Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Sisi polled 96.2% of the total votes cast in the just concluded Egyptian presidential election to emerge the next leader of the country in a landslide victory. At least 21 million voters, representing 96.2% of the total votes counted, chose the retired Field Marshal who deposed the elected Islamist President Mohamed Morsi last July, with the ballots counted from 312 of 352 polling stations. His victory had never been in doubt, with the main Islamist opposition crushed since Morsi's ouster. Sisi's only electoral rival, leftist Hamdin Sabahi, received 3.8% of the votes counted. Sisi rode on a wave of support for a potential strongman who can restore stability after several years of turmoil. Hundreds of his supporters took to the streets waving Egyptian flags, setting off fireworks and honking their car horns. The army-installed government and Sisi were eyeing a large turnout as an endorsement of the overthrow of Islamist president last year and the subsequent crackdown on his supporters. And that's Core TV News at this hour. Thank you for watching. Join us again. I am Gift Ogete. Good evening.